Hello dear students. So next let us discuss about the safety glasses. So the safety glass is grouped into two classes. So the first one is the laminated safety glass and the second is the heat strengthened or tempered safety glass. So let us see how this laminated safety glass is made. So the laminated safety glass is made by bonding the two sheets of ordinary glass. So, two sheets of ordinary glass with a thin layer of vinyl plastic in between the two sheets of ordinary glass. So the laminated safety glass is made by pressing the two ordinary glass sheets with a thin layer of vinyl plastic. So the two ordinary glass sheets will going to firmly stick to the vinyl plastic which is present in between the ordinary glass sheets. So the property of the laminated safety glass is that the laminated safety glass is shorter proof. So that means when the laminated safety glass is broken, so the glass fragments will be held in the place by the vinyl plastic which is present between the glass sheets. So therefore when the laminated safety glass is broken, so the glass fragments do not fly off. So this property of the glass is known as the shorter proof. Okay, so when the laminated safety glass is broken, so the fragments of the glass will be held in the place by the interlayer, so that is vinyl plastic, and the glass pieces do not fly off. So that means the laminated safety glass is shorter proof. So that's why it is called as the safety glass. So the glass pieces do not fly off when the glass is broken. So therefore the laminated safety glass is used in the preparation of the doors, window shield of the automobiles, ships, aeroplanes and furnaces. So next let us see the example of laminated safety glass. So that is the bulletproof glass. So the bulletproof glass. So it is an example for the laminated safety glass. So bulletproof glass, it is made by pressing the several layers of glass having a thickness of 12 to 76 with vinyl resin or vinyl plastic in alternative layers. So that means one layer of ordinary glass, one layer of vinyl plastic, again one layer of ordinary glass and one layer of vinyl plastic. So like this, when the ordinary glass and vinyl plastic in alternate layers, so when they are pressed together, so that will going to form the bulletproof glass. Okay, so this bulletproof glass, it has a wide applications. So usually this bulletproof glass is used in the manufacture of the automobile windscreens and looking windows. So next let us move on to the second group of the safety glasses. So that is heat strengthened or safety tempered safety glass. So the tempered safety glass, or it is also called as the heat strengthened glass. So this glass is obtained by heating a single sheet of glass just below the fusion point, and then it is suddenly quenched in the oil, air or molten salt solutions. Okay, so when that hot glass which is heated just below the fusion point, so when it is suddenly dipped in oil, air or molten salt solution, a sandwich effect is produced. That means the outer surface is cooled rapidly, and that will be in the state of compression. Okay, so when such a glass so does not get fractured easily, so because the when the hot glass is suddenly dipped, okay, so the outer layer will become very hard. So therefore such type of glass do not get broken easily, and it is capable of withstanding the mechanical and thermal shocks. So what is the advantage of tempered safety glass? Means, so when the tempered safety glass is broken, or when it breaks, the pieces do not fly off. So that means, like the safety glass, laminated safety glass, so the tempered safety glass is also shorter proof. Okay, so then what is the difference between this tempered safety glass and laminated safety glass? Means, so the in case of the tempered safety glass also, so the glass pieces do not fly off. In addition to that, the broken glass pieces do not have sharp edges. Okay, so the tempered safety glass, when it is broken, the glass pieces do not have sharp edges. So therefore this tempered safety glass is used in the manufacturing of doors, window shades of automobiles and windscreens. Okay, so next let us move on to the one more type of glass, so that is borosilicate glass. So the borosilicate glass, so that borosilicate glass, so this type of glass is especially used in the manufacturing of the laboratory glassware. So the glassware that we use in our laboratory, so that is usually made up of the borosilicate glass. So it is also used in making the baking dishes, high tension insulators and also washers. So let us see what is the composition of this borosilicate glass, so then how it is made. So the borosilicate glass, the approximate composition of the borosilicate glass, so 80 to 85% of silica, 10 to 12% of boron trioxide, 4% of sodium oxide, 2% aluminum oxide, and traces of calcium oxide, magnesium oxide, and potassium oxide. So the main role of this boron trioxide is that, so this boron trioxide will partially neutralizes the basic oxides. So because of the addition of these oxides, so the boron trioxide will partially neutralizes the basic oxides. So because of the addition of these sodium oxide, aluminum oxide, so these basic oxides gets partially neutralizes by the addition of the boron trioxide, and also the boron trioxide increases the resistance of the glass to the corrosion action of the acids. So this borosilicate glass has a high softening temperature. So that's why we will use this borosilicate glass for making the baking dishes and also for the laboratory glassware. So it is resistant to the chemical attack and shock. So it has a low coefficient of expansion. So next let us see one more type of glass, so that is optical glass. So the optical glass contains small amounts of boron trioxide, barium oxide, zinc oxide, phosphorus pentoxide and silica. So for the preparation of this optical glass, so we need highly pure raw materials. So to obtain the colorless glass and also having the high clarity. Okay, so the optical glass, before, that is in the during the manufacturing, so we need to use the highly pure raw materials. So in the preparation of optical glass, so the highly pure raw materials are mixed and they are fed into the melting furnace, so which is already preheated. So this mixture is melted at 1450 degree Celsius. So that mixture, when it melts, so it should be stirred well to achieve the homogeneity. So when the mixture is stirred well, so the air bubbles will get removed. So that glass will obtain the homogeneity. So then the glass, when it becomes viscous, so then it is removed from the furnace and cooled rapidly to the annealing temperature. So then the annealing is done, then the glass is cooled gradually. Okay, so the glass is cooled gradually and the pieces of that glass should be examined for the required optical properties. So let us see what are the requirements of optical glass. So the optical glass should have the following requirements. So that is, the optical glass should have low viscosity. So if it has a low viscosity means, so that glass should be polished or it can be grind. Okay, so that's why the optical glass should possess low viscosity and it should not devitrify. So that means after several years, so the glass should not lose its transparency. So that means, so the optical glass should not devitrify. That means it should not lose its transparency. So it should be colorless and it should be free from air bubbles. Okay, so when the glass melt is stirred well, so then the glass bubbles can be removed. So then the next requirement of the optical glass is that the optical glass should have the ability to take high polish on grinding and also polishing. So the optical glass should be able to polish and also it should be grind. So the next property requirement of the optical glass is that, so the optical glass should be capable of withstanding. So the optical glass should be having a capability of withstanding, so withstanding the action of atmosphere and of maintaining its surface under all climatic conditions. So these are the requirements of the optical glass. So the optical glass is usually used for making the lenses and prisms, etc. So next let us see the manufacturing of soda glass. So let us discuss about the manufacturing of soda glass. So first let us see what are the raw materials so that are required for the manufacturing of soda glass. So the raw materials required are silica, soda ash, so that is sodium carbonate, limestone, cullets. So cullets are nothing but the broken glass pieces. So these cullets will bring down the melting point of the char. So that is the mixture of raw materials. So cullets are nothing but the broken glass pieces which are added during the manufacturing of soda glass in order to bring down the melting point of the charge. So next let us see how this soda glass is manufactured. So these raw materials are ground separately. So that means each raw material should be ground separately into a fine powder. So then that powder of the raw material is mixed in proper proportions to obtain a homogeneous mixture called as the batch. Okay, so batch is nothing but the homogeneous mixture of the raw materials. Okay, so then the batch is heated in a pot furnace or the tank furnace. So then what happens? So the cullets, the broken glass pieces, that is cullets, will melt first, and that helps in the fusion of the other raw materials. So during the heating, so the temperature should be maintained between 1500 to 1800 degree Celsius. So when the temperature is maintained between 1500 to 1800 degrees Celsius, so the cullets will melt first, and that helps in the fusion of other raw materials. So let us see what are the reactions that takes place when the reactants, that means the raw materials, undergo fusion. So the calcium carbonate, that is limestone, fuses with the silica to form calcium silicate. The sodium carbonate, that is soda ash, fuses with the silica to form sodium silicate. And the potassium carbonate, so if you are manufacturing the potash glass, so then instead of sodium carbonate we can add potassium carbonate. If potassium carbonate is used, so then the potassium carbonate fuses with the silica to form potassium silicate. So the heating is continued till the glass melt is free from gas bubbles or air bubbles. So the undecomposed raw materials, so the raw materials which doesn't undergo the fusion. Okay, so those undecomposed raw materials and the impurities form the scum, so which is called as the glass ball. So that impurities which forms the scum called as the glass gall can be removed by adding the sodium sulfate. So next, after obtaining the clear solution, it is allowed to cool after adding so the necessary decolorizing. So that means if you want to prepare the colorless glass, so then we need to add decolorizing agents, or if you want to make the colored glass, so then suitable coloring agent should be added. Okay, so after the clear solution is allowed to cool, then the necessary either the decolorizing agents or coloring agent should be added. So then after adding the decolorizing or colorizing agents, so the glass melt should be cooled to 700 to 1200 degree Celsius, so that it will have the proper viscosity for shaping. Okay, so if the temperature of the glass melt is between 700 to 1000 degrees 1200 degrees Celsius, so then the glass will have the proper viscosity, so that the glass should be molded into the desired shape. Okay, so next, let us move on to the shaping of the glass. So after cooling the glass to 700 to 1200 degrees Celsius, so the glass is subjected to the process of shaping. So the shaping of the glass is done either by running the glass melt into the molds, or automatic machines turn them into the desired shape. So the next important, after shaping, so the next important process is called as the annealing. So the annealing, it is an important process. So the rapid cooling or the sudden cooling of glass causes fracture. So the glass articles should be cooled slowly. So that is called as the annealing. So after annealing, so the glass articles are subjected to the finishing. So that is such as the cleaning, grinding, polishing, cutting, etc. So next, let us see how the colored glasses are manufactured. So the colored glasses are generally, they are made by adding suitable coloring agents. So that is appropriate amounts of coloring agents to the batch. So for example, the green color of the glass can be obtained by adding iron chromate. So the blue colored glass can be obtained by adding either cupric oxide, cobalt oxide or cerium oxide. So the yellow colored glass can be made by adding cerium dioxide. So the pink glass is obtained by adding selenium oxide. Ruby colored glass can be obtained by adding selenium dioxide. Similarly, so the violet colored glass can be obtained by adding manganese dioxide. Okay, so the colored glasses can be obtained by adding the appropriate amounts of the coloring agents to the batch during the manufacturing of glass. So next let us see one more type of glass, so that is metallic glass. So metallic glass is nothing but it is a solid metallic material. So usually the metallic glass is an alloy. So with the disorder arrangement of the constituent particles. So the metallic glass, it is an alloy. So that is, the metallic glass is either iron based or nickel based, or it is based on the mixture of iron and nickel. So in addition to that, the metallic glass contains small amounts of boron, silicon, carbon and phosphorus. So these are added to increase the ductility. The small amounts of cerium, lanthanum, praseodymium, neodymium are added to increase the ductility of the metallic glass. So there are two types of metallic glasses. One is the metallic glass and another one is the metalloid metallic glasses. So first let us see what are metallic glasses. So the metallic glasses are formed by the combination of metals. So that is, for example, nickel and niobium. So nickel and niobium, when these two metals they combine, if these two metals are used to make the metallic glass, so then it is called as metallic glass. So nickel and niobium, these two metals are used. So one more example, magnesium zinc. So these are two metals. Okay, so that means magnesium zinc, this metallic glass contains magnesium and zinc. So similarly, copper and zinc, so these are the two metals. So these two metals are used, so then the copper zirconium metallic glass is obtained. So similarly, so the metalloid metallic glasses. So as the name indicates, metalloid. So this metalloid metallic glass is the combination of metals and metalloids. So that means in the manufacturing of metalloid metallic glasses, so the metals like iron, cobalt, nickel are used, and the metalloids like boron, silicon, carbon and phosphorus are used. So the metalloid metallic glasses are the combination of metals and metalloids. So let us see the applications of these metal metallic glasses. So the metallic glasses are useful as the reinforcing elements in the concrete, plastic and rubber. So if you want to insert the elements, that is strong elements like the metallic glass, so that metallic glass can be reinforced into the concrete, or you can reinforce into the plastic or into the rubber. So next, so due to their good strength, due to the good strength of the metallic glasses, ductility, and good corrosion resistance. So they are used to make the razor blades and different kinds of springs. So since the metallic glasses have soft magnetic properties, so they are used in tape recorder heads, cores of high power transformers, etc. Next, let us see some other applications of these metallic glasses. So the metallic glasses are also suitable for making cutting and surgical instruments because of their resistance to the corrosion. So usually these metallic glasses are used in making the surgical instruments and also the cutting instruments. So these metallic glasses are also used as the prosthetic materials for the implantation in the human body. Okay, so the prosthetic materials which are implanted into the human body are usually, so they are made up of the metallic glasses. So next let us see one more type of glass, so that is polycarbonate glass. So the polycarbonate glass are the transparent amorphous thermoplastic. They are transparent amorphous thermoplastic. So the name polycarbonate is because these polycarbonate glasses are polymers containing the carbonate groups. Okay, so because of the presence of the carbonate groups, so this type of glass has got its name as the polycarbonate glass. So the polycarbonate made from bisphenol A and phosgene. So this is the bisphenol A and the phosgene. So by using these two material, so the polycarbonate glass is made. So next let us see the applications of the polycarbonate glass. So the polycarbonate glass, it is used in the electrical insulation. So because of its uh, it's a bad conductor of electricity. So because it is made up of a polymer of carbonate group, so it has a high resistance to the flow of electrical current. So therefore the polycarbonate glass is used as the electrical insulators. So it is also used in the construction industry, so that is roofs, walls, etc. because of its high strength, durability and strength. So the polycarbonate glass is used in the construction industry, that is in the making of the roofs, walls, etc. So it is also used to make CDs, compact discs, digital video drives, Blu-ray discs. So they are also used to manufacture the sunglasses, eyeglass lenses, etc. Okay, so these are the applications of polycarbonate glass.